Kings Vision Report from practice on May 17th. I'm John Rosen, the LA Kings insider. We've got Daryl Evans right here. We're going to start this off a little bit differently. Daryl, you scored a very famous National Hockey League playoff goal, the Miracle on Manchester overtime game winner. Question for last night, because that seemed to be a pretty historical moment in the history of Kings playoff hockey. Where would you place that ending to the game, the Kings and Sharks from last night, all time in Kings playoff memories?
Well, I think right now it's probably a little bit early to put a point on it, but I think definitely the impact that it had on last night's game, it was huge. A small period of time that really changed the flow of a game in a moment. It looked like at one point during the game early on, the Kings had complete control of the game. They were up a couple of goals. Next thing you know, San Jose comes back, scores 3 goals, takes the lead, and the way things were going, it looked like San Jose was going to be able to hang on. Kings all of a sudden on the power play score a goal. It looks like things are going to overtime. Next thing you know, within seconds, the game's over, and Kings all of a sudden are up 2-0 in the series. I think when you look at, going back to the Miracle on Manchester, it was Game 3 of the series, pivotal game in the series, put the Kings up 2-1 at that point. And I think probably learned later the impact that it had on the series. The Kings went on and won that series in 5 games on the short series. Then you go back to the fantasy on Figueroa, the comeback against Detroit. That was an incredible night as well. Kings down 3 goals late in the game against Detroit and come back winning in overtime there. That's definitely one that stands out there. This one here will stand out as well. Especially if the Kings go on and win this series against San Jose, it'll be a pivotal part because San Jose is just seconds away from tying the series at 1 game, and Kings turn it around and go up by 2 games. So definitely a game that's going to be remembered in Kings history for a lot of years.
Absolutely. And when you look at the last 12 games, Kings' 12-game winning streak, I should say, at home, when you win that many in a row at home throughout the end of the regular season into the playoffs, there's going to be the flair from the dramatic at times. You saw it quite a bit, actually, in that St. Louis series. The end, of course, of Game 4 with the Kings scoring twice in the third period to come from behind win. The Dustin Penner goal with 0.2 seconds remaining in the second period back in the clinching game against the St. Louis Blues. So for LA Kings fans, quite a week to 10 days at Staples Center. A lot of excitement there, and the Kings looking to keep it going. They're going to have a very tough test coming up at the Shark Tank this coming weekend.
Yeah, and you're talking about the success at Staples Center. Again, the mystique continues to grow at Staples Center. And it starts to play on the mind of the opposing teams. They look at the record. They know that the Kings finished off the regular season having won their last 7 games at Staples Center. Now in the playoffs, it's 5 in a row. And in a fashion, when you get one happen like it did last night against San Jose, that sticks in players' minds. But the Kings now have to go on the road. They've got a 2-game lead in the series, but the Shark Tank, San Jose, an outstanding record in their building this year. Only lost 2 games in regulation. I think from the Kings standpoint, they've got to go in for Game 3 right off the bat and try to establish themselves and almost maybe be a little over-aggressive, because San Jose is definitely going to be on their heels, I think, both mentally and with the energy that their fans are going to try to provide for them. I think they're a vulnerable hockey club early in Game 3, and if the Kings could score first, I think they could really turn the tide in their favor.
It's going to be a very interesting game coming up on Saturday. Todd McClellan, the San Jose Sharks coach, mentioned after Game 1 that they didn't want to fall behind 2-0 in the series. They saw what happened to St. Louis with the Kings getting that momentum in the series, winning those 4 straight games. He's cognizant of the fact of what LA was able to do last year during the playoffs. He knows that you don't want to go behind 2-0 to a team that's defending a Stanley Cup title. They are now down 2-0, and they cannot fall behind 3-0 if they are entertaining thoughts of being able to get to the conference finals. So San Jose is going to come with what we all expect, I would imagine, to be one of their best performances of the season. They're going to continue to get shots on goal. You look at the first 2 games in this series, Sharks have combined for 66 shots through those first 2 games. LA finished 3rd in the league in shots against. They're going to have to limit the shots on goal. As you mentioned, San Jose obviously playing so well in their building. They're going to be looking to get a lot at Jonathan Quick, a lot of traffic in front, continuing to get those shots to the net. A very strong defensive performance, and once again, a terrific performance in net by Jonathan Quick will hopefully be what carries the Kings, at least in the eyes of Kings fans, to a Game 3 victory coming up Saturday night.
And in Game 2 of the series, definitely specialty teams playing a factor in the final result in that game. The Kings scoring 3 power play goals, and the Kings penalty killers, I think, probably get overlooked a little bit because of the success of the power play last night. But what a job the penalty killers have done in the first couple of games against the San Jose Sharks, even going back to the series against St. Louis, limiting the Sharks to no goals so far against a very good power play. The Sharks power play in Series 1 against Vancouver had 7 power play goals. 7 of their 15 goals of that series came with the man advantage. They were just under 30%. But the Kings penalty killers, led by Jonathan Quick in goal, defensemen like Rob Scuderi, Drew Doughty, Robin Regier, those guys have done an outstanding job in the defensive end.
Well, you brought up Jonathan Quick's name, and your goaltender always has to be your best penalty killer. A lot of the questions with Jared Stoll out of the lineup would be who would, inherit some of those minutes. What would happen to the Kings penalty kill against a team that was just a shade under 30% in the first round against the Vancouver Canucks? Well, it's kind of nice to have the Lamborghinis of Dustin Brown and Andrzej Kopitar in your garage. Remember what they were able to do while shorthanded in the playoffs last year, especially in that Vancouver series and then carrying on to the St. Louis series last year. So you saw Brown and Kopitar together, Mike Richards with Jeff Carter. They obviously have terrific chemistry. And then you saw Trevor Lewis, who had been with Stoll. Lewis able to get in there towards the end with some Brad Richardson timing. Richardson was fine coming back into the lineup. He had a strong performance for the Kings. And then also Colin Fraser seeing some time with Justin Williams. So the Kings are a very fortunate team. Really one of the staples of this team of the last several years has been their penalty killing. Lots of options there for head coach Daryl Sutter. And the penalty killing so far has been fantastic for LA and keeping San Jose off the scoreboard.
Options and combinations. Last night, no Jared Stoll in the lineup for the Kings. Andrzej Kopitar takes a puck, catches it in the mouth range in the third period. He's out for an extended period of time. At that time of the game, Daryl Sutter's forced to shuffle the lines around. Unbelievable, some of the combinations that we saw. But you look at the players that figure in on the game-winning goal. Here's a power play late in the hockey game. Tyler Toffoli taking the puck down the right side. Does a great job of putting the puck on the net. Trevor Lewis getting his first goal in the postseason. These are not the guys that you look for to score the big goals, but they got the job done. I think showing the depth of the Kings organization, the depth on the bench, and also the trust of Coach Daryl Sutter.
Neat unsung performances in any successful playoff run. And for Tyler Toffoli, that third period, those represented his best 20 minutes as a Los Angeles King. Never forced anything, kept it all simple, showed a lot of poise, especially on the power play. No forced passes, nothing where you saw him maybe grip the stick a little bit too tightly. He drew a penalty on Brad Stewart to set up the late power plays, and then for the game-winning goal, made a terrific move, gaining leverage, going wide around Stewart, throwing the puck on net, doing a great job of keeping that shot low. That's where you want that shot low, into the pads of Niemi. Trevor Lewis right there to bang in the rebound. Really great chemistry between those two, and that line certainly provided the Kings a boost in Game 2.
Yeah, definitely an emotional boost for the Kings. Kings take a 2-0 series lead. Game 3 will be in San Jose tomorrow night, 6 o'clock Pacific time. For John Rosen, I'm Daryl Evans for Kings Vision at LAKings.com.